Let me tell you something. If you told me 6 months ago that the wildest bet I'd ever make would start with a janitor and a helicopter, I'd have laughed you out of the boardroom. But here's the thing about Life Fight has a way of flipping your script when you least expect it. Usually right when you're feeling a little too sure of yourself. And on that morning, standing on the rooftop of a Seattle skyscraper with the wind whipping through my hair and a multi-million-dollar contract on the line, I was as sure and as desperate as a person could get. Picture this, the city stretched out below, glass towers glinting in the sun, a helicopter humming quietly behind me. Ready to go. I was in my best black suit, heels clicking like gunshots on marble. My assistants were frantically dialing every backup pilot in the city. Nobody was answering. Not a soul. The clock was ticking down, and my heart was pounding harder than the rotor blades. Then, out of nowhere, this guy in a gray janitor's uniform, mop in hand, cool as a cucumber, just steps forward and says, "I can fly it." And my team? They burst out laughing, like he'd just announced he was the Tooth Fairy. Honestly, I almost joined in, but something about the way he said it, quiet, steady, dead serious, made me pause. Maybe it was the exhaustion. Maybe it was the sheer madness of the situation. Or maybe it was the way his eyes didn't flinch when I looked him up and down. So I smirked, threw out the coldest, most sarcastic line I could muster. "Fly this helicopter, and I'll marry you." I didn't mean a word of it. None of us did. But you know what? The universe was listening, and it had plans for all of us that day. See, my name's Chloe Kensington, and I run Kensington Aerospace, the company my late father built from nothing. Everything I am, I learned from him: how to fight, how to win, how to keep your heart locked up tight. My motto, drilled into me since childhood: never let emotion touch the cockpit. I applied it everywhere: boardroom, bedroom, you name it. I was 29, ruthless, and proud of it. Love? That was for people who could afford to get soft. After my fiancé bailed the day I took over, said he couldn't handle being Mr. Kensington, I stopped believing in anything but numbers and control. The contract on the line that day? Skytech, a tech giant with money and ego to spare. They wanted a handshake, a face-to-face, the kind of old-school deal my dad would have crushed in his sleep. But traffic in Seattle? A nightmare. That helicopter was my secret weapon, until my pilot called in from the ER with a busted wrist. So there I was, staring at the city from 50 stories up, options running out, trying not to let the panic show. Enter Liam Walker, the janitor no one ever really saw. 32. Tall. Kept to himself. Always wore the same gray uniform. Head down. Never late. Never lingered. People assumed he was just another face. Another story you never hear. But you ever notice how the people who say the least sometimes carry the most? Yeah, that was Liam. Turns out, he wasn't just scrubbing toilets to get by. He'd been Captain Walker, United States Army, a decorated helicopter pilot with 2 tours overseas. He'd save lives, dodged bullets, earned medals most folks would frame on their wall. And then, 3 years back, his world blew apart. Lost his wife, Sarah, in a car crash while he was overseas. Left to raise a premature baby boy alone. His whole life shrank to a hospital room and a child clinging to life. After that, Liam quit flying. Couldn't even sit in a cockpit without ghosts swarming him. He took the first job he found that didn't ask questions, didn't care about medals, let him keep his little boy, Finn, close when daycare fell through. Finn, with his mama's blonde hair and his dad's gentle eyes, used to draw helicopters in a spiral notebook, sitting in the hallway after hours while Liam worked. If that's not a picture of heartbreak and hope all tangled together, I don't know what is. The day of the big deal. Every pilot in Seattle was busy or gone. My backup was out of town. The next in line had his license suspended. The rooftop felt smaller by the second. That's when Liam stepped forward. And here's the twist. You know, the kind you don't see coming. He just stands there, mops in hand, and offers to fly, like he's asking to refill the printer paper. And when the assistants laughed in his face, he just waited calm, unbothered. I was desperate enough to try anything, even trusting a janitor with my entire company on the line. He didn't flinch when I threw down that ridiculous "I'll marry you" bet. Just nodded, put down his mop, and climbed into the cockpit like he'd been born there. I remember the way my heart slammed against my ribs when the engine roared to life and the rotors kicked up. I got in, against every ounce of sense I had left, buckled up, headset on, and tried to breathe. The helicopter lifted off like it was made of silk, smooth as anything, slicing over the city while the world fell away below us. I watched Liam really fly. No wasted movements, no nerves, just this deep confidence you can't fake. He threaded between buildings, skirted the bay, banked left with a whisper. I couldn't look away. 12 minutes later, we landed on the Skytech pad without even a coffee cup rattling. He just climbed out, quiet as always, while I sat there shaking not from fear, but from the realization that I'd just been flown by a man my company never even bothered to notice. The deal went perfectly. Skytech signed. By the time I got back outside, both Liam and the helicopter were gone. That night, sitting in my office, I dug through our records, nothing on Liam but a basic background check. Blank as the moon. So I called a friend in the military. What I learned floored me. Decorated captain, Medal of Valor. Left it all after losing his wife. Raised his son alone. And now he was mopping floors in my building, invisible on purpose. Suddenly, I started seeing what I'd missed. The way Liam moved through the office, keeping to shadows, carrying Finn when he got tired, heating up leftovers in the break room while his boy slept curled up on a bench. He avoided eye contact, never ate in the cafeteria, never late, never early, just there, ghost-like. I realized he wasn't hiding from Shamey, he was protecting the fragile peace he'd built for Finn and himself. One night, I waited for him in the lobby. He came through with Finn asleep on his shoulders. I stopped him, tried to thank him for the flight, told him what I'd found out. He just shook his head. I'm not that person anymore. But the thing is, he still was. You can bury your past, but you can't outrun your own strength. Later that week, I found Finn crying outside the simulation room, had a bad dream about his mom, and Liam was inside, falling apart. I saw this man who held everything together, just letting himself break for a moment. I sat with Finn until Liam came out, and for the first time, we both let our guards down. I told him my own story, how I'd built walls, let love slip away, lost myself in business because I was afraid of being hurt. Turns out, broken hearts recognize each other. Then the real Tess Cammy father, Roger Kensington, stormed into my office, furious that I'd let a janitor fly the company chopper. Furious I was spending time with someone beneath our legacy. He threatened. He raged. He tried to scare me into dumping Liam out of my life. But for once, I pushed back, told him I'd resign before I'd let him dictate my heart. And I meant it. Skytech wasn't done with us yet. They reached out to Liam, wanted him to do a live demo at their global summit fly in front of the world. In exchange, Finn would get a scholarship at the best school in Seattle. At first, Liam wanted to say no, but when I asked what he really wanted, I saw the answer on his face. Wanted Finn to have a future. He wanted to be more than a shadow. On the day of the demonstration, Liam stood on the runway in a borrowed flight suit, Finn at his side in aviator sunglasses. He took off, smooth as silk, every maneuver sharp and perfect. The crowd went wild. Finn jumped up and down. That's my dad. When Liam landed, he smiled, dreary smile for the first time in years. You can't fake that kind of redemption. That night, I found a note from my father slipped under my door. You were right. It said, any man who'd risk everything for his child deserves more respect than I gave him. I cried, not because I was weak, but because I was finally free. Free to choose what mattered. Liam used the scholarship for Finn, but he didn't stop there. He started helping kids who dreamed of flying, build something new, let himself be seen. I supported him quietly, never told him it was me behind the donations. One day, Finn came home with a school assignment. My hero is my dad, but my other hero is Miss Chloe. I kept that essay. It reminded me what matters most isn't the deals we make, but the lives we change. And, you know, sometimes you get your own Hollywood ending. I found Liam on the rooftop, cleaning the helicopter like old times. I told him I never meant the marriage joke that day. He grinned, said he knew. Then I looked him in the eye and asked, "But what if I meant it now?" He froze, then knelt down, held out a simple ring with 2 tiny wings. "I used to fly for my country," he said, voice steady. "Now I want to fly for you and Finn, if you'll have me." I said yes. Of course I did. Finn popped out, flowers in hand, yelling, "Does this mean she's staying forever?" We all laughed, happy, really happy, for the first time in a long time. We took off together, the 3 of us, the city spreading out below, sky above wide open. For once, we weren't running from pain. We were flying toward the future together. And now, I'm about to ask you, what would you have done on that rooftop? Would you trust the quiet one in the corner? Or would you let the world tell you who matters and who doesn't? Let me know down below, because sometimes the right choice is the one nobody else can see. And hey, if you believe in second chances, in heroes who hide in plain sight, or you've ever found family in the most unexpected place, share your story. I'll be here, reading every word, rooting for you too.